when you look at this roster, where do you see the holes other than? I mean, there's a gaping one at quarterback. What do you need? What does this roster need?
It needs a running back. It needs a left tackle. It needs help at, quite frankly, I mean, you need multiple offensive linemen, I think. It needs help along the defensive line, whether it's both at edge to kind of help with Miles and as well as defensive tackle. It needs an influx of youth there because you either have unproven guys there or you have guys with injury histories now that you've gotten rid now that Dalvin Tomlinson's left. You need safety help. You just have a lot of places where you need help. And look, you're not going to get them all this, you're not getting them all this draft. But if you can get 3 or 4 guys who can at least help, they can be contributors, they can be, they can, help you become, just get a little bit closer to where next year's draft you get 3 or 4 more, and that's how you turn this around, and you turn this roster from an older roster that's whose windows very well probably maybe closing to a younger roster that's on the upswing, and so that's why I say you know dwelling on positional needs and just kind of taking the Ozzie Newsome best player available approach, is should be the way to go.
Yeah, when I look at it,
Although knowledge needing to come away with a quarterback out of this
yeah,
draft at least.
when I look at the offense, they need guys that threaten the defense. Who
Playmakers.
Yeah, playmakers, absolutely. Because you've I guess Jerry Jeudy, David Njoku, but man, there isn't. If you're sitting in a defensive room, there's not anybody that you're like, man, we got to make sure this guy doesn't beat us. I mean, Jeudy and
Yeah, I
Njoku
mean you
are
have Jerry
nice,
Jeudy.
right? They're nice players, but I don't think defensive coordinators are staying up late trying to figure out how to keep the ball out of their hands.
Well, probably not as much as they would if there were others around them. If Jerry Jeudy, maybe he's not your one, he's your two because you have
Yep.
that number one receiver. If you know you have to worry about Jerry Jeudy on the play action because they have this running game and look, you got bad luck with Nick Chubb, with the injuries and everything. But that's sort of football, and it's unfortunate, but you know it's just stacking those playmakers so that you know it's sort of if a defensive coordinator tries to plug this hole, well, there's 3 others over there he's got to worry about. That's what 2 years ago when David was having his great year, along especially once Joe got here. You just had other multiple guys. You had Amari, you had David, you had Jerome Ford was giving you enough that this offense could be could do something. And you don't do it if you only have like 1 or 2 players who maybe you know get that kind of highlighted on the scouting report, and that's what they have right now. They have 1 or 2 guys who get highlighted on the scouting report, and everybody else is just you know just a guy, to be perfectly honest.